Welcome back everybody to another episode of No More Pain. And today we're going to talk about turf toe or an MTP sprain. What you'll see with a turf toe or MTP sprain is a hyperextension of the great toe. Now this usually happens a lot more in football while their cleats are on and they're maybe at the bottom of a pile and they're getting pushed back and they're straining a lot of the plantar flexors down at the bottom here. So this becomes sprained. You may even get some sprain on the medial lateral ligaments of the MTP joint. There's different levels of sprain here too as well. And obviously the greater the severity, a grade 3, the longer you'll have to recover. But there's also like a grade 1 and a grade 2, and those tend to recover a little bit faster. So what you really want to focus on is how much range of motion can you get and adding as much mobility back into that joint. It's just like spraining your thumb or one of your fingers in your hand. We want to get as much range of motion there that's comfortable, but we want to keep it moving. You don't want to keep it too stiff. So obviously we have to let the structures heal, which is super important. But at the same time, we still want to be able to add as much strengthening and range of motion that could be pain-free or have a little bit of pain. And so some of those exercises just include a lot of calf work, picking up rice, picking up a towel from the ground, trying to grab things with the toes. And it's hard to isolate just one, so doing with all of them is fine. But really trying to target those muscle groups down at the bottom, the plantar complex. But then at the same time, still working a lot of the ankle. So eversion, inversion, dorsiflexion, and plantar flexion, all of those everything's kind of attached here. Another big one is the posterior tib, kind of coming down into here, attaching to the navicular, kind of still strengthening that. Even though it's a little bit further away, you're still targeting some of the fibers that are traveling down. And so you want to not just focus on only the big toe, but on all the structures down in the ankle. Also adding in some traction with mobility really helps this area because the traction alleviates some of the discomfort. So by adding some of the traction here, you're causing a little bit of distraction there and then adding a little bit more mobilization here to the joint. As long as it's not causing excruciating pain or stabbing pain, you're okay with adding some discomfort to the athlete. So just kind of getting as much range of motion, mobility in all directions will help with that joint not getting too stiff. Because that's what we see the most with turf toe, is that the stiffness is increasing because there's lack of movement. So just to kind of review on anatomy, you have the first metatarsal running through here, attaching to this is what we call the MTP joint, to the phalangeal here. And this is what makes up the biggest joint that we have in the foot here between the toes, the great toe. And this is where you'll see turf toe most on the first great toe. So depending on where the injury, the ligament may have some damage, that's where you kind of want to get in there a little bit more with some soft tissue work. So whether it's on the medial side here, the lateral side here, on the plantar side, you really want to get in there. So if it's on the medial side, a lot of people benefit from some soft tissue work, whether you're using some type of tool or your hand, but really kind of getting in there, really helping with the separation of the toes to really kind of allow for more movement in this area. So don't forget about soft tissue work when you're dealing with someone with a great toe injury or a turf toe injury. So don't forget to comment or like about it. If you have any questions on turf toe, feel free to message us and we'd love to kind of get back to you on any questions you guys have. Thank you.